Welcome back with another banger. It's the React Files. Hope you're having a good night. Let's get straight to it.
Mulai TV ada sengatan his kita harus ngajak gojek his lakon ngajak gelut mulai TV ada sengatan his kita harus ngajak gojek lakon ngajak gelut
Follow me for your dose of nightmare fuel.
Bro, that was creepy. I was looking for CGI. I was looking for somebody shaking it. Yo, it looked real. Talk about a rough day on the job. Yeah, the driver definitely had to be used to this kind of stuff. So he was playing it pretty cool. I don't know if I could have been that cool. I would have had to pull over and get out. I would have got out. Like, yo, call the boss right now.
He need to explain what was going on with Birdman while he was on the stage. They was having a Hot Boys reunion with everybody on the stage was rapping and shit. But Birdman, this man started malfunctioning. This man was looking like a glitch in the Matrix. Your man just had a sudden pause moment where he just started looking towards the ground and you can faintly see him moving his head a little bit. So BG went over to check on him. He looked at him like, is this man all right? BG even started to tap him a little bit to see if he was good. He could have been off those Erkies, but I don't know. It looked like this man was malfunctioning to me. So y'all look at this video and y'all let me know what y'all think. Watch him, y'all. Look at him. Now watch BG come over and check on him like, this man good? Now I ain't gonna lie. If I was any of them people on that stage, I'm not doing no reunion with this man. Y'all know what he did to all of them in that group. We could talk about that another time, but y'all let me know what y'all think about this video down below in the comments.
Man, it looked like Birdman just pulled a Montez Ford. Pulled a Tom Brady right there. Shout out to Xavier X. That's crazy, bro. His batteries were definitely low. System malfunctioning.
Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay. All right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. Huh? You think you can do this shit? Yay! You think you can do this to me? You motherfuckers will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay!
Have died just hours after showing symptoms for a mystery illness in the Congo. According to the World Health Organization, the outbreak began after 3 children ate a bat. Since then, 419 cases have been recorded, and all those who died did so 48 hours after developing symptoms. The CDC have since told thedailymail.com that international risk of the disease is low.
Do you guys know about the Bolivia salt flats? This was an ancient sea that dried up. Now, for about 9 months out of the year, it forms hexagons, and the rest of the year it gets flooded with water and creates a perfect mirror. This area is 4,000 square miles long, and it's almost completely flat. Across the entire thing, there's only about 3 feet of variation in height. I talk all the time about how the firmament is a hexagonal lattice. Does anyone remember in Chicken Little when the sky started to look like this? Or when a piece of it fell down? And of course, we have our 3, 6, 9, 12 numbers for the elevation. In the middle of the flats, it's covered in giant cacti that grow up to 39 feet, 12 meters tall. In the book of Enoch, chapter 14, it's right after Enoch is raptured in Genesis. He says, I drew near to a great house built of hailstones, and the walls of this house were like tessellated paving stones. Tessellated, Tesla. And they were all of snow, and the floor was of snow, and the ceiling was like shooting stars and flashes of lightning. And in the midst of them were fiery cherubs, and their heavens were water. And then twice in Revelation, God says he hates the Nicolaitans. Could this be the elite that are trying to break the tessellating stone, the firmament? NASA uses the salt plains to adjust and improve the accuracy of satellite data. I've mentioned a couple times that I think that satellites are mostly there to monitor the firmament. There's always aluminum tanks on the videos of them. When I broke down what I think the sky ice would be made of, in order to make it a solid crystal, like a barrel consistency, all you would need to do is add aluminum. Why do all of these satellites have aluminum? Let me know what you guys think.
I think it's very interesting. Shout out to K Paji.
Oh my. Oh!
Part 4 of the real-life Romanian Stranger Things, Pennsylvania Sunrise. Now, where we left off, Caesar Brad, our 11 character in this Romanian true story, had been taken away from his parents and living in Department Zero. And Department Zero was a covert government operation. It was originally created to research parapsychology and develop some paramilitary defense, but it ended up taking over pretty much any shady thing that was going on in the government, because Romania was under communist control at the time. Okay, so 6 years into Caesar's time living in this facility, and the general that was the main supervisor over Caesar orchestrated for Caesar to go visit his parents. He said after 6 years in this facility, we feel that taking Caesar away from his parents maybe impacted some of his abilities. And the department agreed, sure, you could take Caesar to see his parents. Now, Caesar was able to move his consciousness around and remote view. So he already knew what happened to his parents. He knew that his mother had died and that his father was not doing well either. And that they never did forgive themselves for calling the government that day and feeling like they betrayed their son. But the general did not take Caesar to see his parents that day. Instead, the general secretly took Caesar to a monastery in Bucharest, where they met with a priest. But Caesar says that this priest was more than that. He was a prophet. He was a mystic. He was the hermit. Okay, so this is in 1986, and this mystic hermit priest sits down with Caesar and the general, and he spoke to the general for hours on end, telling him what he needed to do, what was going to happen. He's talking about all this crazy rapture stuff, and he tells the general that there is a group of people who are part of an ancient organization, and that these people will stop at nothing until they have all the power in the world. But that Caesar and the general have this mission together, and he maps out the whole entire mission. Then looks at Caesar and says, you know what to do. Then as they're leaving, the priest says, thank you for listening to the dream. And as they leave the monastery, the general tells Caesar, last week, I had a dream of the priest, and he told me to bring you here. But it wasn't Caesar who needed the message. Okay, so let's fast forward to 17 years later when all the stuff the priest said starts coming true. Okay, so by this point, Caesar's head of the Department Zero. He's a grown adult man. He's literally property of the Romanian government. So one day, the president of this department calls Caesar, which was out of the norm. And the president is like, yeah, you have this really important meeting today. You have to do it. And now Caesar had never observed these qualities in the president before. He's like, well, who's the meeting with? And they said, someone very important. So Caesar's like, why is everybody freaking out? And why will nobody tell me who this meeting is with? And also, this is a secret department within a secret government organization. Caesar has no legal paperwork as a citizen of Romania. Not only how does this person know about the department, how was he able to penetrate through all of this security? And how does he even know Caesar exists? Caesar gets freaked out. So then Caesar goes to his room, gets in a meditative state, and finds the energetic signature, the vibrational signature of the person who's coming. And he says it feels like a horrible dark cloud. And he's like, oh wow, this is a bad person. And this is where the author of the book, Radu Cinemar, takes a second and is like, well, what do you mean? Like, you've said a lot of weird stuff up till now, but I'm gonna need an explanation on that. And Caesar says that the subtle field of knowledge that he evokes during meditation when he needs information is a vast ether. From this subtle reality, all things, phenomena, all matter, any kind, everything, all information, that is basically an infinite ocean of codes. Those codes are our intentions, thoughts, ideas. And that when you clear your mind of all parasitic thoughts, you can target energetic vibrational frequency. Now, it's so interesting here. Let's take a look at this book, Science in the Akashic Field by Ervin Laszlo. And right here on the first page, as it defines the Akashic. Now, this gives us an entirely different perspective on the Akashic records. What if they're not records of what happened, but the actual primary substance in which things are created from? That our thoughts and intentions are the codes to shape those things. Now, this book is actually the suggestion of Linda Howe, who taught us how to read the Akashic records. Now, if you haven't read Linda Howe's book on the Akashic records, even though I've told you 100 times, that's okay, because I did a whole step-by-step tutorial for you guys on YouTube. That's basically a whole full-blown free class. What Caesar described as the ether is word for word how this book describes the Akashic records and the Akashic field. So back to the story, the person who has this dark aura arrives, and he's a member of the Bilderberg group. And he basically tells Caesar, you have no other choice than to work with us.
The Bilderbergs? Whoa, yo, this is crazy. We're talking back in 86 in Romania. This is very interesting. Very fascinating. Shout out to JK Ultra.
This is the moment a statue moves during a tour of the Salem Witch Trials Museum in Salem, Massachusetts. While taking a video, a tourist captures a statue moving, something that is impossible, yet happens more than we realize. Spirits often attach themselves to objects, especially objects bearing the human image, and animals too. The question is, why does a spirit attach to a certain object? Is it a person who relates to that particular image because of a past life connection? Or is the spirit of a more sinister origin and attempts to possess a human but mistakenly enters the statue? Watch this.
Do you want your mind to be blown? What if I was to tell you a really important fact that would change how you view reality forever? So, Microsoft has created a new state of matter. How does this relate to me telling you that you can have control over your reality? That we all can! Get ready. Our universe is alive, and it's evolving. Why does it have to do with this? Really quick, to summarize the article, the states of matter are solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. Microsoft dove into the solid state matter, and they basically hacked reality by creating a topological qubit. What they did was they took two electrons and they paired them, which was done by cooling things to very low temperatures. And basically these electrons together, called Cooper pairs, help qubits not make mistakes, which is huge in quantum computing. Basically, they are hacking reality, going inside a solid state matter and restructuring how electrons behave. So ask yourself, why do we continuously think of new things? We discover new things all the time, every year. New technologies, new paradigms, like the sun is the middle of the galaxy. Before that, the earth was. Now our mind is. Next will be our heart. What if it's because reality is alive like a living ether or what I call a higher dimensional plasma, and it grows as our consciousness grows. Like actual new stuff comes into reality, which is how we figure this stuff out, because it's actually new. What does this have to do with the Dark Crystal movie, you might ask? Basically, Jim Henson, the creator of the Muppets, made everyone read this book called Seth Speaks: The Eternal Validity of the Soul before creating the movie Dark Crystal. Whole crew had to read it. He said that the book opened up a whole new way of looking at reality, which is what they wanted to do in the movie. Now, this had to do with good and evil, but there was more books. Specifically, this book called Dreams, Evolution, and Value Fulfillment. And I shit you not, as I had this idea yesterday, thinking that, oh, well, plasma is alive, everything is plasma, what if it's evolving? Which means reality is evolving, which is why all these things are constantly discovered, because they're literally being co-created. And then I read this today. And Seth, who this woman claims to channel, comes through her in the book and says that in the beginning, before physical matter, there was the dream world, where everything comes from, and that was alive and very real, still is to this day. And in this world, there were images without form, and they started to stabilize and become physical. I think reality is becoming more of this form, and plasma is the closest state of matter to the formless. And I think that's the bridge of all of this, of consciousness. Weirdly enough, before all religions, one of the first concepts ever was of everyone for the Australian Aboriginals, also called dream time or the dreaming. It was where the land was inhabited by ancestral figures, often known as supernatural, to have supernatural abilities. They were not gods, but it was basically like they were like half in dream time, half in reality. I think this is what they're hinting at in the book. So that would mean that we're becoming actually more dense, more expanded. We're going to learn new senses. People have them now. You can see it in the telepathy tapes. There's literal telepathy going on. This is an autistic nonverbal, but other people are telepathic, and this is proven. There's also something called upsight vision that Tom Matt has, where he literally sees holographic images in his visual field. This is an evolved visual sense. I think we're going to continue in reality to have evolved senses that extend beyond the 5 senses, and intuition will even evolve. I'm wearing a blanket. I know this is a weird look. I'm wearing a blanket. Here I am talking about evolved senses. That is why these new things are coming into the public consciousness. And if you haven't noticed, technology and mysticism are becoming closer and closer. Science and the spiritual. And I think we're discovering these things not because they've always been there, but because we're literally co-creating reality and we evolve as it evolves. Systems theory, feedback systems, look it up. I call it plasma consciousness synergy, but that is for another time. If this interests you, go to my plasma intelligence playlist, or you can go to the link in my bio to order my new book on plasma and consciousness if you're vibing with this. Why this is so cool that the universe is alive and we're all evolving together is because it means for you that you can always reinvent yourself. Every day is a chance to re-evolve yourself, the different beliefs into a different reality. This is real. And things are real because you believe they're real. That makes them real. Anyone who's healed their trauma, you know that perspective equals reality. This means the universe is alive, it's listening, and I think that's because of plasma. And in my new book, I'm going to tell you how to form a relationship with this using your consciousness so you can consciously start to co-create your reality, your world, your life to live a deeper, more expanded life from your heart, from your soul, with magic and love and connection. And I'm learning as you learn. I can point you to this, but it is up to us to all do it for ourselves. Oh my God. Sorry, my fashion is just not okay today. I think we're waking up to the fact that we're meant to be conscious co-creators. And my cheeks are getting very hot, which usually means I'm onto something. Usually means the plasma loves what I'm saying. Bye.
Yeah, my mind is blown. Microsoft quantum computers using new state of matter. Stuff gets deep, but it's a rabbit hole because it keeps evolving. Every day we learn something new. Every day we get a chance to reinvent our reality.
So these are going to be built by your Knights Templar, okay? You can see that cross at the top in this bell tower, that's a second edition. Okay, that would have been an archer tower right there. They put windows in here. They would shoot arrows right out of here. Arc masons, they'd shoot arrows, artillery through the air ether. This was all sacred to them. See right here on the door, these doors were a second edition. There's a Templar cross right there, a red Knights Templar cross. One of their markers, okay? See on the left of the Templar, that's going to be the Omega right there, right? On the right, that's going to be the Alpha, but that's a Freemason A right there. You can't tell, but those are going to be compasses right there, the geometric tool they use. Doors were really never there. They were open arcs, and you'd be able to walk right through them like halls, okay? That's why in the blueprints there's the compass, the geometry tool. They used that to lay all these out with harmonic ratios and degrees. This is not a string line brick mason who laid this. These are advanced masons. That's why they last so long. They don't weather, they don't crack. The date on this church is off. This says 1911. The original date documented is like 1848. The priest redid the church and got it blessed in 1911, and that's the date they put on it. So they already added 60 years of documented in their documents, right? So we don't know how many years that they really added to these structures. The face of this structure got rejointed, the joints in between these blocks. Look how far they stick out right here, okay? They redid the whole face of this and they rejointed the whole entire structure. Yeah, there's a copper cable running down off that roof right there. That's not lightning protection. Underneath these tar shingles, there's actual copper roofs. They tarred and shingled over it to block the electricity going into this building. Top, that's a copper ball right there that would harness energy from the ether. It never got cloudy and would storm over these buildings because they would harness that energy from the atmosphere that would create storms. Thing is copper. Even all this right here running along the side, the drainage system, all copper. You wouldn't need a copper wire ran off the top if it wasn't redirecting that energy back into the ground. Instead of this building pulling the energy from the air into the building, it's going into this copper antenna right here and going into the ground. And this structure would have been able to pull energy from the atmosphere, from the air ether into this building, but it would also have wireless telecommunications to that next structure right there. That's Ursula's, okay? Before it was Ursula's, that's right on the riverfront and the canal system. These were all free wireless telecommunications, whether it was through the water system carrying the electrical current or through the air and the copper. Or they had that north, south, east, west directional point over there. There would have been a cross. It would have been an antenna. The U.S. patent design for an antenna is a cross. The same people who built your lock systems. This is the oldest incorporated village in the United States of America, okay? So you see how that church is all the way up there and then it dips off into this canal right here? That's where the first or second floor of this church is. Bottom floor of that church is going to sit right here like your level 1 or your level 2, okay? This all got built up right here. The ground grade of this is, see how this dips off right here in the back and this drops off another 20 feet right here and it dips down. That's where the ground level is, okay? Where the foundation is on that building. They raised all this up and put this canal system in right here. They raised the canal system. This was a lot lower than what it originally was. So this is right on 3rd Street. That's going to be your 33 Knight Templar cross right there. You guys need to learn the markers. Lay the city lines out for the border lines and all this. This is 3-3. This is 3-6. This is 3-9. This is 3-6 again, okay? This is 35 right here. This would have been lot 33. You can see they knocked the building down. There would have been another structure right here that the Grandmaster stayed in. This whole tower got added right here. They converted this whole building, filled it in. So that would have been a door right there. That would have been a window that got sealed off. They only reinstalled these 3 right here. They put this new door in right here, those white panels. All this white is new on this building right here. Those window ties, those are old. They don't come out. Those are permanent window ties. Right behind me, still on 3rd Street. This all got converted. All these buildings are connected underground. I'm not even kidding. 4, right across the street. It would have been 33. They use these city layouts. They control all your cities.
Using the city's layout, Knight Templar resets. Shout outs to Indio 369. Walking around his town, showing the history. Like, whoa. Showing the ground level and how they built up to make that canal. The wireless communication is what got me.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, this piece of footage you're seeing behind me here apparently was leaked by the DoD, okay? So this was leaked by a Navy sailor recording the FLIR video display on his phone in the middle of the ocean. This video is a snippet of what the Navy and the DoD has of this incident. The sighting included multiple objects with deck crew utterly bewildered as to what they were witnessing, right? And as it carries on here, you will see this strange object apparently go transmedium, right? Look at this, right? It's kind of hovering above, you know, doing its thing. They're tracking this object and the sailors are kind of losing their mind. And then it goes, whoop, vanishes, bruv. And there's another perspective. The Society of the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies, the SCU, published an in-depth white paper on this situation and explained the transmedium observation as mistaken. That's the UAP's temperature momentarily drops to the same temperature as the water, making it invisible to the IR imager and therefore disappears, okay? And that's coming from the SCU, right? So we've got two different accounts of people saying that A, it's a strange anomalous object. Kind of the Navy sailors that witnessed this and lost their mind. Apparently this isn't the only object that was in the original piece of footage. And all in all, the Air Force came and confiscated the video originally. Okay, so what we're seeing here isn't the full amount of what we're seeing, and then we have the SCU explanation. So I don't know, mate. This aircraft is hella bomber-clotted, alright? This thing just vanishes and does its own thing, but you guys let me know what you think. I thought this was very interesting regardless. Do you believe the SCU, or do you believe the boots on the ground and the strangeness holding behind it with the Air Force apparently confiscating the original footage? Look at this thing. In a bit, bruv. Can't be asked to be on this plane of existence anymore. Boop!
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed tonight's rabbit hole. If you like this video, why don't you check this one right here. Thanks again. Till next time.